بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Welcome.
Brother, this way, sorry. Brother.
That young man.
Yeah, Habibi. This way. This way, yes, you. This way.
Sorry. No problem.
You're good. شيخ كان بس تقول للناس يتقاربوا شوية.
Yeah, we're like really spread out. Can we get a little closer? Only exemptions are people with back problems and old people. That's incentive to move forward.
And the sisters, they can come as well.
Sisters, as you like. Other sisters, feel free to come up to the front left of the room. So welcome to another Friday Night Lights. Somebody asked me just now, he's like, we've heard of lessons from the Battle of Badr. Lessons from the World Cup? What kind of lessons could there be? So, first of all, welcome Sheikh Walid. I know you were traveling last week. Good to have you back. You were traveling, صح?
Yes, I was traveling for several weeks.
Yeah, for several weeks.
And came 1 week, then absent again. So, thank you. Jazakallah khairan. World Cup, mashallah. Sheikh, first of all, did you watch any one of the games?
Not a single one.
Oh man.
And I don't even know like who, just if my kids didn't tell me who's winning or who lost, I wouldn't know. And I don't even know why they tell me, because I really...
You don't like soccer?
I like soccer. I like to play soccer. And I always tell people I can watch the finals of the World Cup. But like, for example, the last World Cup, I didn't watch the final.
Not even highlights?
Not really, no.
Oh man.
Even though I can watch soccer highlights, but I just don't care about the World Cup.
Okay.
I don't care. I'll watch these finals, inshallah.
Nice.
Because we want to watch them all together here, inshallah.
Tomorrow we're playing Netherlands, just for you to know.
Who's we?
America.
I don't know anymore.
That's right, guys. Are we play Netherlands tomorrow? Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even know we're in. I have no idea.
Oh, we're in. I show you. Oh, full.
Okay, they understood it immediately.
Yes, I'm cheering for America tomorrow against Netherlands.
Okay, I have a question before we start to the audience. So, and I'm talking to people who know soccer.
Thank you.
If you did not Google this, all right? Who remembers who won last World Cup? If you didn't Google it recently, who was it? Okay, the one before? Germany? The one before? The one before? Brazil? Okay.
Wow.
Pakistan, huh? We're not talking... Even cricket they didn't win, yeah.
Oh, ouch. That hurts.
You know, it's interesting when I ask
I
people...
never saw... Is Pakistan has a soccer team? I don't think so. They do? I never heard in my life Pakistan playing in anything. It's called soccer. I never saw their team in Asia competitions or anything like that. Yeah, they are cricket, but I didn't know that they have soccer. India too. I guess that part of the world they don't care much for soccer.
All right, so you know something, Sheikh? I gotta be honest. Like, I don't care much for sports, and what I mean is like, I don't like how the world has become, where we give so much importance to this thing. Like, I understand. When I say stuff like this, two things. Number one, I'm not giving a religious opinion. People, because I'm one of the great scholars of Islam, they think everything I say is a religion, and they try to argue. Tabiya, it's just my opinion. Why do you have to argue with my opinion? You have a different one, I have one. So that's the first thing. I'm not giving religious ruling, all right? I forgot the second one. Nah, khalas, I don't need it anymore. Shukran. But the point is that, like, I just don't like how the world has become, where we give so much focus and so much importance to something like soccer or any other sport for that reason. And everybody's different. I cannot think of anything in the world that will make me jump out of my chair and scream. Anything. Yani, besides Islam, yani. But I can't think of anything where someone scores and I stand up and I do this and I say, we won, and I wasn't doing anything. I'm eating potato chips. he's running, he's exercising. But I'm just saying I dislike a lot how the world has become where, FIFA estimated that 5 billion people are going to watch the World Cup. How many people are on Earth?
8.
5 billion of them are going to watch soccer. Look at what they're trying to buy this guy for, this guy Ronaldo. They're offering him, 119 million a year for a 3-year contract. That's like $9 million a month. If you want to keep it real, I'm going to ask you, why would you pay this guy $9 million a month? You will tell me, because he jiggles the ball like this. I'll tell you 9 million and you will tell me, this will be your defense, he jiggles it good. That's all. Tell me anything else you're going to add to that. The way Sheikh Wali is looking at me, it's too much. It's too much. Everything. Loving actors is too much. Loving these singers is too much. You know something? Because I grew up around the world, right? When I came back to America, I used to be surprised when in the news, I used to watch the news, this was TV days, right? I used to be surprised that they would talk about what movie's being made. Like, how is this news? But that's how it is. Like, movies are so important that in the news, Tom Cruise is making a new movie, or this, this movie grossed this much at the box office. That's news. That should be entertainment. That should be on the side. Kida, when I'm bored, I give you $10, you make me laugh, okay? But not that my life revolves around this stuff.
Yeah, I agree 100% with this. I think it's so important to understand that there is reality. The reality is sports is a big thing in people's life today. And whatever sports that you like, I personally like soccer, my family are involved in that. I grew up in a country where soccer is the only national sports that I know. And I consider sports as one element in our life. You can't put your head in the sand and say, oh, why I'm paying him? Paying him because not he dribbled the ball. You pay him to, I don't agree with that amount, but I think there's a lot of exaggeration, and I agree with you about that. But they pay him a lot of money because he makes them a lot of money. Simple. Yes. That's the only reason, because he brings so much money to the cup,
yes,
to the club. But the point that is so important for me is, and I think Sheikh Kamal would agree with me, I hope so, we don't have a problem with you to be a fan of a soccer team or a soccer players or a basketball players or a Astros, whatever sports that you like, or fan of an individual. But what is not correct is for your life is to think that this is the role model. The stars. And that's the only star that you know. And that's the only role model that you have. And that's where your inspiration comes from. That shows that I understand if someone's so empty in their life, there is no real role models. There is no real stars in their life, in their history, in their presence. There is no real values of life. Life for them is eat and drink and have fun and sleep, and that's it. But for us as Muslims, I think life has way more values than just sports. Sports is just one thing that I enjoy, I do, I love, I watch. But if my whole day, my whole information, these kids who are like, mashallah, knows everything about the soccer player or about basketball player, but they zero about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They know zero about the Quran. They know zero about Allah Himself. That just makes no sense to me. Those who will be willing to wake up at 4 a.m. to watch the game, but they will not wake up to pray Fajr. They're willing to attend and to start and to force themselves and commit themselves to certain things, but they're not willing to commit to anything of higher value. When sports became the highest value, that's a problem for me. But is it something good? Is it something of value? Is it something of interest? Is it something I love to watch? It excites me. I don't think any wrong with that. I love it. I think sports is a beautiful thing to have, to cheer for, to be excited about it.
Yeah, so I agree. I don't disagree with anything you said. And I also don't have a problem with anybody loving sports. And if I did have a problem, it's not going to affect your life, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is be strong. Like if I say, oh, I have a problem with people loving sports, طيب, inshallah I have 17 problems. I'm going to love sports. It doesn't matter what I think, but I don't have that opinion. The thing I forgot to say was that, like, when you talk about that, people think you're dumb and they try to explain how the world works to you, like how much this player earns for the club, and I understand how that works. I think I was born yesterday, but I'm just saying I wish the world were different. I'm not going to try to change it. All right. I just wish the world were different. I wish people who actually did something to improve people's lives were the ones who, got paid well, or teachers. But it's people who punch each other in the face, and people who, I don't know, kick a ball around or dribble or whatever it is. And it's also not my place to belittle what people do for a living. I'm just saying I wish the world were a different place. But all this, ya Sheikh, reminds me of the hadith of the end of times. And they just describe where we are. Yani, the hadith that the hour will not be established, that it says basically, until you saddaq al-kadhab, right? The one who's a liar is believed, and the one who's honest is disbelieved, and then they would trust the one who is untrustworthy, and the trustworthy one will not be trusted. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, "Hatta yantuq ar-ruwaybida." So they asked him, who are the ruwaybida? He says, "Ar-rajul at-tafih," in one narration, "safih" in another, fuwaysiq in another. All of them mean that someone of no knowledge, no opinion, no value up here.
Insignificant.
Insignificant. And then they're going to speak about people's affairs. All right? Let me ask you this. And there are some sports I like. We're not going to disclose. And there's some athletes I like. But there's one thing I don't do. I don't care about any interview by any athlete. I don't understand why they interview athletes. It's all the same. It's the exact same interview. Here it is. Well, we're going to go out there and give it 110%. There's no iron team. These guys, they've been, we had a rough season so far, but we tell me that, and you're laughing because that's every interview. So why I don't understand is, you take a guy like this, whose job is to dribble, kick, whatever, when he's good at it, and then you ask him, so what do you think about what's happening in the Muslim world and the movements and the du'at of Islam and the scholar, and this guy, this Ruwaybid gives his opinion. That's what I don't understand. And it happens in the Muslim lands. There was one, they were interviewing this guy about soccer and kick it and put it in the net. Suddenly they asked him, what do you think of multiple marriage? And why multiple marriage of all things? Is this like the most urgent thing in the ummah? And he's like, I think people shouldn't do it. It hurts the woman's feelings. And at least you could have said something smart about it. But that's all you came up with?
No wonder it should come out.
Huh?
Anyway, I just want to say something. Okay. As a counter argument for this, Sheikh Kamal.
Sure.
I think I'm so happy to see so many athletes today coming into the picture, adding value to the conversation. And we cannot deny that. You can see, for example, in the United States, NFL, people start talking about, the black rights. They stood up when there were abuse and so many violations to African American in America. They start speaking up, these athletes taking positions. No racism, blah, blah, blah. Also, you see people like Muslim athletes. One of the things you'd think, what lessons that you learn? You don't know that this has really moved my heart. And I hope that you guys seen that. When the Moroccan player scored in the end of his game, it's Tunisian. Which one? You don't know what I saw with my own eyes.
It looks like you're telling him no.
No. I think he's a Moroccan. The Moroccan, after he scored, he took off in the end of the game, he went and he kissed his mother's head.
Yeah.
And she was with her hijab watching. Before anyone else, before celebrating. That's something that touched my heart. He recognized his mom and goes and he gave her his shirt, as a gift to her after he scored the game. After he scored, he made his team to win. That's beautiful. When I hear about, Sadio Mane, when they honored him in Paris not long time ago, You know what they honor him for? Yes, Benzema, he was the best player, golden ball race, you know. But you know what they recognize this other Muslim player for? For the one who contributed the most. The masajid, the mosques, the hospitals that he built. You know, that's a message to every young man around the world that, and he said, money is not everything. There's something bigger than that. Even Ronaldo, since you brought him up, you know, his stand up for Palestinians in many different occasions, openly supporting and showing support to the Palestinian cause, that's something really appreciated. And it is so powerful, it reached so far, more than so many of us talking. Yes, I wish the world would listen to a scholar or a sheikh or the khutbah from the haram, you know, more than they will listen to a tweet or an Instagram post by one of these celebrities. But that's the reality. I wish people will listen to scientists and stuff like that more when they talk about issues like climate change. But the reality is when one of these celebrities talk, that's a reality. And I'm glad that there is a conversations that now start being associated with athletes that of value. And if it is something that inspire our youth and our there's so many things I want to talk about how we lessons begin it. But you can see that it became more than just a sports.
That's true.
And I think if anyone here loves sports, I don't know if, I think this is a good point. You kind of alluded to this. I would love you to talk more about it. By the way, it doesn't make you, like one person told me, Sheikh, I'm in the high school sports team. I said, what? Sports team. What? E-sports team.
E-sports team? What does that mean?
Play FIFA.
Huh?
Playing games.
And he's proud of that?
Yeah. You know? So, you know what? That doesn't make you athletes. That make you a sports person like sports. You just watch it in the couch eating potato chips.
Yeah, but his thumbs are in very good shape, probably.
I'm sure it is. You know, so you know what? If sports would inspire anything, it's to make us more active. If there's anything that I think it's a good lesson to make us more active as young, because unfortunately we are so connected to online, I think sports bring back the normal life, which is we work together. I think sports, I don't want to take everything, but I just open doors because I should come out. Sports, especially for brothers, it make them men again. You know what? As sweat and muscles and work and masculine. That's something also missing, unfortunately, in so many men today. They became so feminine, and that's not right. Man's supposed to be a man, a woman's supposed to be a woman. I'm also for women's sports and to be active and not to be lazy and to be in shape and to be, for her good mind and a good body, 100%. So sports is something good for our boys and girls, for our community, for our generations, to get them away a little bit from being just, consumed by machine and TVs and electronics.
That's true. And I want to throw in two positives so people don't think that I only have negative, But and just so we're clear, I was just saying I wish the world were different. But I understand how the world works. Like when you wish the world is different, people try to explain the world to you. Now I understand how it works. I'll give you two athletes that I'm very fond of. One of them was a captain in Egypt. I don't know which team, but he was Abu Treka. Yes? Ahli. So this guy, he's religious, very well-mannered. There was an interview with a hijabi young lady in the street. They said, who's your role model? She said, Abu Treka. And this is the effect that a righteous athlete can have. It's a great effect. The other athlete I respect a lot is, this is cricket, Hashim Amla. Some of you know? Nobody knows him? Yeah? Okay, very good.
So you watch cricket?
No, I don't watch cricket. The
Do
only
you like
reason
cricket?
No, I don't. I can't stand cricket. The only reason I know him is he was in my class in Durban in South Africa. So then somebody tells me, there's a major cricket player in the audience. So next break, I start saying, hey, what kind of game is cricket? What kind of a person plays a dumb game like that? And everybody kept telling me there's something. And like, I'm just kidding. And then we became friends. But he's so well mannered, and he's the one who refuses to wear the jersey with the. He's the only one on the team that doesn't wear the beer or alcohol logo. And so but his manners are superb manners. You know. I think also Al-Maghrib
Hakeem.
had Hakeem Al-Ajwan, no doubt. And Maghrib had the football player, in Michigan or Minnesota, wasn't there?
Oh, the Abdullah brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and
many of them comes.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah. We have also. What's the young man who played for Manchester City? Yeah. No, not Car. No, he's a play for Manchester. Huh? With the big hair. I think he's Tunisian. He played in the Tunisian team this time. Anyway, he comes.
Mohamed Salah. I don't know anything about Mohamed Salah, but
Mohamed Salah is also, especially before a little bit became, he was more into showing the Islamic identity. And I think he started this to the global level, the issue of sujood, and that's become an iconic. And you see the fans saying, changing perspective about Muslims.
They're saying if he's in a mosque, I want to be there too. If he's a Muslim, I want to be Muslim too.
Right. So talk about sports and because all these events, World Cup, it just bring that concept to life. Also, I want to say about Qatar specifically. What do you think, Sheikh? What have you been hearing about Qatar?
I've been hearing the positive. I've been hearing the dawah that's happening.
Okay, so tell me, what is
So they're taking advantage of the World Cup. They brought Dr. Zakir Naik to give da'wah there. I told him I was busy. The point is that reports of entire families becoming Muslim.
I saw that. I saw the video of Brazilian family.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
There was one, I think you sent it. It was hilarious where they're trying to interview someone. He's like wearing a thobe and iqal and ghutra and everything. And they're like, what do you think of the World Cup right now? He goes, I'm from Mexico. So, like he's just dressed like an Arab walking down the street, I love all that stuff and people passing out material and about Islam and the adhans. I think
even in concert, like stop, pay 2 minutes for adhan. And one of the reporters said that, I think Argentina, he said, then one of the most beautiful thing I ever heard in my life. Adhan for Fajr prayer. And he came out just to record that and to broadcast it. So this is the most scenery, most beautiful thing I ever heard in my life. So definitely having the World Cup.
And the no alcohol.
Before no alcohol. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but there's a lot of work. Obviously, by law, you cannot do it inside because who control the area where they play and stuff like the FIFA? Okay, so you're not allowed to put like ads for any religious identity or anything like that. But outside, where you have millions of people coming to you, small place like Doha, guys, next World Cup in America, do you know it's between us and Mexico and Canada? See how big of a country we are? And it is between 3 countries. And Doha is like smaller than than Houston. Yeah. I would assume. But the point is that all those people exposed to all these activities going on, and there is about 2,000 da'iyah. Actually, we're trained, and I saw some of the videos about the training, months before this event comes. Just to be ready to those who want to know about Islam, to want about Quran, what about the Prophet ﷺ. I think in the first kind of week, or first 10 days, we have over 800 people became Muslims.
That's amazing.
Those people are scoring goals every day. And that's something that should not be, dismissed. For over, 3 billion or 2 billion people watch the opening or ceremony, for them to watch opening the ceremony, all these billions of people to read a verse of the Quran, and that's how you start with, and to make that message clear. I think that's something, to be proud of your identity as a Muslim. That's something I think one of the greatest lessons of the FIFA this year. That people exposed to something it's called, it doesn't have to be the best, the perfect. Nobody is perfect. But for you to understand that there is, there is Muslims and they have values, and these values are very universal values. That's something that I think every Muslim should be proud of. And there is a clash happen, and we'll talk about this a little bit, but I don't want to, before I move to that part, I just want to make sure that we understand that when there is an opportunity for you to show every Muslim is ambassador for Islam, every Muslim is a da'iyah. So if you play for your Parsa, or you play for your basketball team or your soccer team in your school, make sure you understand that. You like it or not, you're still an ambassador for this religion. Make sure that you're represented well. Make sure we see sports as a tool. I'm not saying you go convert everybody and, that's not my goal, not my point. My point is that, make sure that you're role model. Make sure that, unfortunately, there is a big, huge machinery giving a very bad image about Islam constantly and about Muslims. And the best way to counter this is through personal interacting, through people seeing the real you, that we're a good ummah, a good people, very, very, very good people. On with this and I will pass to you. Interesting. I wish I get time to research this, because it's easy for you to research it. One of the most noticeable things so far in World Cup, one of the most noticeable things, you know what?
What's that?
Huh?
I have no idea.
There is no record of any significant or any, I don't know, maybe in handful cases of sexual harassment.
There usually is.
A huge number of rape and sexual harassment, and in Russia, I saw the news myself when Russia, sex slavery in Russia, actually it was announced, and that's something I was surprised that FIFA negotiated actually with the country. They brought to Russia 5 or 6 airplanes of prostitute. From Ukraine, from Thailand, from Madrid. They announced that. It's not like something.
FIFA announced that?
No, the Russian organizers. Okay?
Wow.
And that's something, one of the services that you provide. They don't call it sex slave, but anybody knows how this works. It's a slavery. It's a human trafficking. Don't tell me those people come with a license and like the way it's Netherlands, some country. No. The reality is that's what it is. And abuse and people drunk and drugs and all this kind. You can imagine.
Yeah.
But something that they were talking about and they announced, that this is so far, by far, there is no incident of sexual harassment or rape or anything of that incident. I think part of it is you bringing people to a clean society.
Yes.
And you know what? And you're not letting them to tint it, but you bring people, not to bring their culture, whatever you used to do in the other World Cup. No, there's a new rules here. Even the drinking. I see these images of people celebrating in the market and talking and challenging. Like every country, they challenge which dance. I saw a samba, a Brazilian samba, the dance. They doing debka, but on the samba, lyrics. Oh. And vice versa. And they're doing all this activity and, festivity activity, and not involve alcohol. I think it's a change for people that they see the opportunity to have fun without haram, without indecency, without being drunk. You still have mind, but you still can enjoy and have a good time.
I don't know if it was a coach or a trainer, they're interviewing him and they're saying, what about the fact that there's no alcohol allowed? And he said, it's good that there's no alcohol allowed, because now the cheering is genuine, the happiness is genuine, and it's not fueled by alcohol. Which, there's certain sports without alcohol, I don't know how people watch it. Like, for example, baseball is a horrible sport. It's slow and it's dumb. And I was like, how people sit there and watch baseball? They're getting drunk. That's how they watch it. Otherwise, if you're sane,
come on, shit.
Come on, baseball is garbage. Series. Come on, baseball is horrible.
Ouch.
No action. It's like, maybe cricket's better. No, I'm kidding.
You should have come with us to Colorado.
Really?
First time in my life to watch a full baseball game.
Really?
First time to understand the game too.
I used to play softball, the same rules.
طيب, Sheikh, what do you think of all this attack on Qatar, why did they have a human rights records, why don't they accept people culture, why all this kind of fuzz that, I don't know if you heard, the German team doing like this and the first opening, all the German team, when they, after the national anthem, they took a picture like this. And it means Qatar is closing our mouth.
I think it's wise for all Germans to just stay like this forever. Germans want to open their mouth. Germans just stay quiet. Come on. I lived in Germany. I used to speak German. I know Germans. Just stay like this all the time. Do us all a favor. All right? Got Germans got. So, you know, the thing with that is that the truth is just when any country says, oh, you and your record, or you don't accept other cultures, what you want from them is to put their value aside and accept your value. That's all it is. My value is so important and so great that you should cancel your value system and accept me and my value system. That's all it is. It's like when, I'm not going to mention the country, they banned a bunch of Muslim speakers, and then one guy in parliament was saying, we are not going to allow people who have intolerant views into our country. So basically, you're saying you are not going to tolerate views that are not like your views. You're intolerant. You're the same guy. Ban yourself. Yani that's exactly what's happening here. So every time something happens, the people start yelling and saying, you know, you're not inclusive, you're not this, you're not allowing other cultures. You're basically saying, dissolve your culture, accept my culture. But they need to respect the fact that they have their own value system. But everybody thinks their value system is the best one, so you need to eliminate yours and accept mine. I mean, that's in a nutshell.
Sheikh, have you heard about all these, there is about, even Qatar I think recognized the death of 500 people who used to work under this, you know, in 10 years they built a whole entire city. They built all these infrastructures, come from almost nothing to what we see today. And they said there was abuse to the workers, underpaid, all this kind of talk. What do you, like, there is argument. I mean, what do we say about stuff like that? So, you know, Gulf country, they don't give right to workers, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
And that's why we should abandon, we should not get into Qatar, we should not do this.
Yeah, but so, again, I'm going to quote something Malcolm X said when you know, back when before he became Muslim, he was part of Nation of Islam, and he was preaching that nonsense. And then this white lady asked him a question where basically she was questioning him. And his answer to her, he said, you don't have, and it's just, he was wrong, he was in the wrong, but look at the power of his answer. He said, you don't have the moral ground to stand upon to ask me that question. And you can't even stand on any moral ground before you can even ask me that question, because of you and your history and so on. So, yes, I don't defend Muslim mistakes. And I watched a documentary when Dubai was up and coming with all these skyscrapers, and they were talking about the other side of Dubai. And it was like, yeah, you see all these incredible buildings. Now let's go and see where the construction workers live. And it was absolutely horrendous. And the first scene is just water running down the roads. It's just mud, tiny little areas where there are like 5, 7, 10 people living together under one roof. It was just appalling. And then interviews with them. I haven't been paid for 6 months. This guy's not been paid for 8 months. Then they go, why didn't you pay them? Then they say that how they, you know, have debts to this company and this construction and that. So these people are the last. I don't defend that whatsoever. But at the same time, I personally don't accept any, you know, like critique of human rights from Western countries. That's just, I think that's nonsense. I think when you live overseas and you don't know Western countries, you think, oh, it's just insanely, you know, fair and just and all that. And then when you hear, you're like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like you talk about, in the US we talk about China and the human rights, but look at the violations here in the US. We live here. You're not going to trick anybody. So I don't.
Definitely, we don't have the kind of level of violation. I mean, we're not China. We're not Russia.
Yeah, but
I mean,
we're not.
I think there is an obvious difference. But what I think is important for me is this: I accept criticism from anyone. Shaitan, when he, not shaitan, I give you the one that 100% typical evidence to our case. The Jews came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, Ya Rasulullah, Ya Muhammad, you and your people are the best, your companion. But you say something that we consider not allowed, something considered shirk. Allah, the Jews telling the Prophet ﷺ about some practice from the Sahaba that is shirk. Shirk, it means a violation of the essence of Islam, which is Tawheed. It's a minor violation. You guys say, if God will and Muhammad will. You should say, if Allah will alone. They criticize the Muslim. The Prophet ﷺ accepted, even though they have so much shirk themselves. They have so much wrongs. They don't have a track record of Tawheed. But yet the Nabi ﷺ recognized that and he said to the companion, don't say this anymore. So what I'm saying is, that Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab rahimahullah said, one of the benefits from this hadith is to take the truth from your enemy, from even people you disagree with, or people who even act like your enemy. So what I'm saying is, I 100%, I don't recognize the mistakes of people, even if they are my own people, of my own skin color, my own culture, my own citizens, my own government, my own religion. I would say wrong is wrong. But that cancellation culture is wrong. Not because they make a mistake in one area, it means that you cancel them completely. Because if we're going to be doing that, we cancel everybody.
That's true.
That's one. Two, also there is exaggerations. Numbers, some people say 5,000, 30,000, people 30, even one person's a lot. But also we have to understand that there is a lot of risk people taking when they take these kind of jobs. I looked at the record of some of Western countries who die in workplaces. So 510 years. That's what official numbers, and the statement came even from FIFA, I think, something like that. Do you in France, they have 4,000 people die at workplace because of poor work conditions every year.
Until now?
Yeah. That's right, before COVID. 4,000 people. So don't give me that. That shows you there is a bias. And I think what Sheikh saying, I don't accept it from you, because you can tell some of those people are so biased. They're just picking on you. So I think the lesson that I think I learned from this, just don't bend your back. Don't feel defeated. Go and do your own research and fight back. Don't ever justify the mistake. But you know what? I can tell you that this is not right. This is exactly, why you are picking on some people like that. Why there is a double standard when we deal with stuff like this. Okay? So, and also another countries like, United States, I left it out because it's the size of it. But even per capita, 4,000 a year, that's a lot. That's a huge number. It's the highest in the world, in Europe, I mean. Then, I forgot what the United States is, but the United States also is like tremendous amount of number. It's a huge number. So, going back to the issue of the Qatar and abusing of human rights, also they talk about like the human rights violations, and there's where the values comes. You enforce. But Sheikh, if somebody tell you that's a human rights values, it's not a culture values. Can you turn on the light, please?
Shukran.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, so we don't, like I said, we don't have a problem. I mean,
no, when it comes to homosexuality
that
and stuff like that, I mean, that's a human rights violations.
Yeah, I mean, so
I just want to explain something, maybe because you're not following up with Qatar by the state. He said, if you are gay and you want to come to cheer for a game, we're not going to stop you. Just you became gay. We're not going to force you to be straight while you're in Qatar.
They won't even know if you're gay. There's no gay test at the airport.
Just
come and cheer for your team, get on the plane, go back to where you came.
Yeah, what is not allowed for you to promote this lifestyle openly and to start fighting for it, we don't allow, because it's not allowed. That's not a lifestyle we agree with. That's what there were the conflict is. Because sometimes somebody coming up, I'm worried about my life. They're going to kill me. Even one of my kids today said, Baba, is it true if a gay go to Qatar, he would be killed? I said, what kind of... So I'm saying this because even our kids hear stuff like that. You know? I said, that's not true. That's not how it works. You know, all what the people say, you cannot go up and make a gay pray or whatever, and you know, and start promoting this. That's basically goes against what we believe as something that we don't accept. But if this is your own personal choice, it's up to you. Nobody gonna knock on your room or to ask you what kind of, you know, person you are.
Yeah.
Type.
That's reasonable, I think.
Sheikh, I want to end quickly with this. Anything else you want to say? Lessons from the World Cup?
I can't. Maybe some of the audience has something that we didn't think of.
What about the social media phenomena? Are you following anything with that?
No, not at all.
Rushdie, can you show the guys my metro guy? Yeah. So this Abu Bakr, he's from Kenya. You know, there's a lot of people got, you know, work opportunity. Just go work for two months, make money, go back to your country. There is no much opportunities. Anyway, so Abu Bakr got this opportunity to go to work for 3 months. His job, can you imagine Sheikh Kamal? His job is to sit in a chair with, you know, that gloves, you know, the foam gloves.
Yeah.
He says, metro is this way. That's it. He's pointing this all day long for 8 hours, and he get paid for it. Boring.
Yeah, I hope they
Do
pay
you
him
know
enough.
that this man today became the icon
Ajib.
of World Cup? So he said, 8 hours. He said, you know what? Let me change. Then he starts saying, metro this way, metro this way, metro this way, metro this way.
Where is he now? If you don't know about Metro Man, he's a viral TikTok sensation, and he got his fame simply by saying Metro this way, which is absolutely hilarious. Metro Man has now been appointed Metro Ambassador, and his contract has been extended from 3 months to 2 years.
Come on.
You see, in Qatar, dreams really do come true.
Okay, so Sheikh, not only that, the FIFA recognized him and they brought him in America, in England game, in between and he starts saying Metro and the whole entire stadium.
Really?
This way. And then Barak, the famous Turkish chef, he came and he made one of his famous dish in front of him. And he became everywhere chef. Millions and millions of retweets and posts about this guy. Nice. Every nation. If you go onto social media, he became a phenomenon. What I learned from this, you know what? You can make your job the most fun job. And his voice became the voice that's used inside all the metros now.
Really?
Yeah, his voice.
Ajib.
And they made him the ambassador of metros in the world. Whatever, metro, whatever. Yani, I became interesting, Sheikh. There is another Qatari kid, if you show the picture, please. The other picture that I sent you. Do you see this picture?
Yeah.
This Qatari kid now have over 13 million followers in TikTok. 13 million.
What does he do?
They just caught him. He looks like the symbol of the World Cup. He looked like him, you know, and the way, and his face expression is so strong. Like the Saad, he was cheering for the Qatar against Ecuador. So they made him and they made something for him, and he became, in all of a sudden, China, an icon. And 13 million followers he has. He's crazy. I mean, I know this is like a couple of neighborhoods in China, but you know, but still, you know, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yes, it is.
So what I'm trying to tell you also, like one thing that you think about, I want you, my brothers and sisters, and hopefully this to be a segue to the next presentation that we're going to hear. there is a big difference between fame and greatness. Fame is about what you gain in life. But greatness is about what you give during your life. Might be a great person, but not famous. So make sure that if you get the fame, that you don't just become a fake person, an empty bubble. Because at the end of the day, what really matters the most, that to be a great person, a person with great contribution. And if you allowed me, Sheikh, I would like to invite, a presentation to be given to us about a topic that sensitive. I know it's a complete shift, but before I do that, I will open the floor for a comment, or if you guys have a comment to say. Before we're going to have a short presentation about creating awareness about a topic that I think it's important to hear, which is about, I will let them talk to you about it in a little bit. But if anybody has a comment or share, yes, go ahead, or question. The history of?
The history of the Middle East.
Uh-huh.
And then you said.
And then also, did Allah give Iblis a chance to repent?
Oh, Iblis.
Oh, Iblis.
Oh, sorry, I thought the Middle East. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
ما فهمت كويس. Did Allah give Iblis a chance
Yani
to
Allah
repent?
canceled Iblis.
Oh, I see. No, so Iblis.
Can you repeat your question so we understand exactly what you're saying?
So based on what you said about cancel culture, right? You said just because someone messed up once, that doesn't negate all their good or bad. One of the things we've learned about Iblis is he used to be,
Okay.
he had a good past. Then one time he did make sujood, and then he got canceled. And also,
Very good.
when Allah said, for example, Jazakallah khairan. When Adam learned from Allah with regards to his istighfar, did Iblis also have a similar opportunity to, for example, repent?
This is Raise of Faith 101. Yeah. تفضل شيخ.
Go ahead, yeah.
First of all, it's slightly different, right? يعني, there was a question, can Iblis make tawbah? He has from now until the day of judgment. Can he make tawbah? The answer is yes, but we know, because Allah knows the future, he will not make tawbah. He will never repent. So the difference between Adam and Iblis alayhi salam is that Adam alayhi salam made a mistake and he wanted to repent. Allah taught him how to repent and he repented. Iblis spent a long time being very righteous. He made one mistake and he was super arrogant. Yani he refused. Allah, can you imagine a command comes directly from Allah Azza wa Jal? And he is not even an angel. Allah elevated him. That's another honor amongst the angels. And I want you to visualize it, that Iblis is up there with the angels and they're all higher level. And the command comes straight from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prostrate to Adam. And then billions of angels go down. And this guy is standing like this, is looking around.
No, me.
فظيع. Look at Adam. Wallahi, if I just out of embarrassment, if I'm not convinced, and like 10,000 shuyukh do something, I'll just do it with them, just out of embarrassment. This guy, the angels, the billions of them making sujood, he's still standing like this. Then Allah directly asked him, ما منعك ألا تسجد إذ أمرتك? What stopped you from, prevented you from making sujood when I commanded you? He is arrogant. He says, you created me from a smokeless fire, you created him from mud. And then on top of that, he starts immediately, this is in the same conversation, قال فبما أغويتني, because of how you misled me. He blames it on Allah Azza wa Jal, never wanted to repent, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed him to live until close or until the day of judgment, and he always has the opportunity to repent. But from his arrogance, we know that he's never going to repent. That's the difference, big difference. So Allah never ever counseled any living thing from one mistake. Allah will accept tawbah from.
Yeah. But then I always hear this, one mistake. Who said it's one mistake? Which one? The sujood? That's one. Yeah, but he's arrogant. That's two. He's disrespectful. That's three. He challenged Allah. That's four.
He vowed to
He hated
misguide
Adam.
human
That's fine.
beings.
Yeah, there's so many mistakes.
just kept
Actually,
one
the
after the
sin of arrogance is before the sin of not making sujood. The sin of disrespect is before the sin of not making sujood. There's so many things he did. It's not one only. But this canceling culture is basically, the problem with the canceling culture is this. It's became a game. I cancel you, the thing that it fits me. It just because it fits me. Because I put a boundary, I'll put like a circle for you, and you have to stay in that circle. The moment you step out, I cancel you. I control you. And I think that's something became very clear in Qatar, and I'm so glad that they stood the course. You know, we're not going to bend our back to this. We're being respectful, but we're not going to bend our back for it. No alcohol in public place, no alcohol in public place. No displaying of things that 100% clearly haram. It's not going to be allowed for us to do. You know what? I think when you stay in your course, you win. I think that pushback is something important to learn, especially for us as a minority, because they are, as a country, minority too. You know, I think the World Cup in Qatar, there is a lot, and I don't want to be too much about it, but there is a lot to be said, because I think that shows you that also that part of the world have so much capabilities that people doubted for so many time. For years, they think Middle East is just, somebody was saying, oh, they still ride, is the camels trained to stop at the red lights? You think the people over there ride camels and stuff like that? I have people ask me this question myself. They think people just backward. Now when people go to Dubai and go to Qatar, go to Saudi Arabia, they said, wow, we're not the only advanced part of the world. Actually, study shows that the booming economy in the next, century or so, it's all going to the Middle East. It's not in the West or East. There's the future there. And they've proven that they're very capable of doing it. I expect it to be one of the best, inshallah, in the history of the World Cup. I'm not bad for government. I know nothing about the Qatari government. I have nothing to do with them. I would say the same thing in any Muslim country or any country that it's like it's a Middle East and growing and want to go. There's one phenomenon I have. Sorry, I don't know if you guys saw this. There's so many videos, even the Israeli government made an official complaint. And they said, we are failing completely. There is no such thing as normalization relationship. All this is Sheikh, the reporter, Israeli reporter, could not get a single interview. Everybody interview him. Yes, where are you from? I'm Palestine, free Palestine. Oh, I'm talking about. They leave. Every game, Algerian, Tunisian, Moroccan, Egyptian, Saudis, you name it, all this country, they don't cheer for their own country as much as they cheer for Palestine. You know what I learned from this? And I said this in this masjid a long time ago. I said, Israeli government can win a Muslim country's government's normalizations. But they will never be able to win with this kind of policies that they have now with the Palestinians. They will never win the Muslim world. You will never win the streets. And if you're betting on the government against the people on the streets, you're losing in the long run. It shows you the people not willing to accept. And it's not about being anti-Semitism. No. It's about knowing that there's so much injustice happening to our brother and sister in Palestine. And it shows that this ummah will never be, subhanAllah, it's amazing when Saudi win against Argentina. I saw videos in Jordan, in the street of Jordan, they distributing free candies. In Egypt, celebrating and people giving free drinks. Have nothing to do with Saudi. Some of the countries actually they do have problem politically with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And they were celebrating the Saudi win. And celebrating Moroccan win. And celebrating, Ghana and Senegal. And for me that shows that the ummah is still have that one body, one connection. And that's something I can bet on it. Something that sometimes we feel like we're so divided. No. We as ummah, as individual, so ready to be unified. Politically. And I think that doesn't apply only to Muslim. It applies to the general public at large. I think for us in the United States, a lot of people are very close to be willing to come together. You know, when we go to the USA, you see people from all different kind of cheering for it. Black, white, Hispanic, you know, they don't care about it. They love that. You can be unified. People, so easy to unify them. I hope that we can learn from this and work on this and build on this. Don't let, if there is a small things like this can unify us, don't let other things divide us. Because there's so much strength and beauty in being together. Sorry. Come on, guys.
All right, I'm gonna go, right? But listen,
No, you're not going.
The final is on Sunday. The World Cup final is gonna be Sunday. I forgot, December 22nd or something like that. We've got these nifty new laser projectors. They're amazing. So some of you young folks, come see me and let's Yusuf. All right, everybody else, come see me and let's plan to do it and watch it here. I'll do the burgers and the hot dogs. You guys watch the game. Then when it's over, tell me who won. Okay?
By the way,
All right.
when you watch soccer, what do you guys eat? Pizza? Burger.
Burgers.
Okay. By the way, it is allowed for a Muslim to cheer for a non-Muslim team. It's halal. It's not do with wala bara. Okay. It's like me cheering for Lexus or liking Lexus car. You know, it's okay. Even if they play against some Muslim country,
Saudi,
it's not haram.
Saudi's in.
Huh?
Saudi is still playing?
Saudi Arabia, khalas.
Oh, really?
Home.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, Saudi known as the green team.
Yeah,
Al-Akhdar.
Yeah, yeah.
So everybody was praying for Al-Akhdar, but they didn't know that the green team was Mexico. They were wearing green. So all the dua went for Mexico.
Okay.
Come on, sisters.
They
Oh, you
don't
guys
think
have
they
the
know that
presentation?
there's.
Come on.
We're not done yet, you guys. There's a presentation here.
Yeah, hold on, guys. Hold on. The great part is coming. Yeah. We do have a short presentation for you to talk about, to create an awareness about something that I want you to know about. So, yeah, come on, guys, here. Huh? Did he tell you about any projector? No. I actually asked and I was told no projector. Okay. But if you have a presentation, we can put it on the screens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you need to do it with him.
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint. Can you do that?
Do you have a laptop?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, sure, go ahead.
It doesn't have a sound, right?
What? Sorry.
Does it have a sound?
No.
No sound.
Yeah, no sound. I'll be talking. So.
Victoria, you want to start talking until she set it up?
Do you want to introduce the topic?
Sure. I was going to make you introduce it. I will introduce the topic, but I'll introduce her. If you, I'm sorry about that, but I asked specifically, Kabir, if there is a PowerPoint.
No, I told him and he said he would have it arranged for, yeah, maybe he just got the World Cup back.
I have a loaner laptop right now, so my hard drive crashed. But it's been working. Yeah, it's been working pretty well. So. Yeah. Oh, that's right. I have to connect to the Wi-Fi.
But the deal is here with us this time, so I mean, he can maybe like, do you want to sit in the chair? Whatever you. No,
Do you know what the Wi-Fi is?
Oh, the Wi-Fi. Do you know what the Wi-Fi is?
Yeah.
And then O capital, O, and then no caps, and then Oli. It's L-Y, Oli, the whole thing.
Okay, so I'm gonna let Dr. Rubina, who's well known, alhamdulillah, in our community,
Read it from
Uh,
whatever. It's just
to introduce our guest today. But today we would like to create an awareness about foster homes, foster kids, and that's a big issue. And I personally dealt with a couple of cases here in the Muslim community, and I know, and we used to have a case here in our own masjids here. We dealt with something that can happen to many of us, and I promise you, it's going to be informative, and it's not going to be too long. A lot of young people here might not feel the connection, but I think you will understand the importance of it also from your perspective as a young man and woman, something to keep in mind. And I really have so much respect for those who dedicated their time, resources to help these young kids who needs this kind of help. And if anything, I want to say from Islamic perspective, a lot of people think that Islam only care about taking care of orphans. But as a matter of fact, in Islam, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Man ala jariyatayn," whoever take care of two girls. He didn't say adopt an orphan. No, and that's why the ulama said sisters, taking care of your sisters, taking care of your daughters. That will be a reward that leads to Jannah. So I just want to make sure that you understand that there is also a great reward, not only to adopt an orphan, but also to basically foster and to take care of children who needs this kind of help. So I hope this is something that clear, because this is something we talked about as Muslim 1400 years ago. And we have something in Islam called al-wasi, which is someone will foster the kids, take care of the kid. And if I have time, inshallah, I will like even to share some stories about scholars who fosters by others, and they took care of them. They're not related to them. They raised them. And one of them is Imam al-Awza'i rahimahullah, who fostered by completely a stranger to him. And he spent so much money. And al-Awza'i became the greatest scholars of his time. His opinions ruled North Africa for 200 years. People in court use his opinions. Great scholars in Islam. And so many scholars like that. So something just I want to make sure that we understand also the value of it from our perspective as Muslim. Thank you for being here tonight. Am I in the right direction?
Yeah.
Yes. Just
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I just wanted to welcome Krista Kessler. She's the community outreach organizer specialist for Catholic Charities. And basically, we started looking into fostering because we came across a few Muslim families in CPS that were separated, and there was a push to like accept them in their house, but we found that there was not any Muslim parents that were qualified to take them because you have to go through a process to foster some children. And even though the Muslim community always, like anytime we get those WhatsApp notices about these 4 kids, their parents died, and they need to be placed, and everybody starts messaging, and nobody is able to foster because they're not qualified to do it. In Houston, I only know of 3 people after doing trying to bring awareness for this for about 2 years who are foster parents, 3 Muslims in all of Houston as far as I know. So it's very important because, as Sheikh Walid said, it was the norm that most families of this, most Sahabas and most families surrounding the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and at that time would take care of orphans. And even the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was the greatest example. He was raised by multiple people after his parents passed away. So I hope, inshallah, some of you are young and you might not be able to foster right now, but maybe at least it's something that you can think about. Right now with Catholic Charities, the only way we can foster is to go through Catholic Charities for International Refugees. So there are Afghan youth right now who are placed in non-Muslim homes. There's a lot of them here now, and they're not in any Muslim homes. I don't think there's any, right? Oh, yesterday one, wow. Because we had one person in the last 2 years who went through, I think she just made it through, and it is a long process, but alhamdulillah, so we have one person placed in a Muslim house as of yesterday. So inshallah, we'll have some more, but start thinking about it, because hopefully, like, you know, one day you guys will, some of you who are young will be married and will be coming up across these things. And then this is a mandatory orientation. If you are interested, this will count as that orientation, and Krista is going to go ahead and present. Oh, and Brother Adil is behind me, and he is also a Muslim family who is fostering. They actually fostered 2 children who were non-Muslim, and one of them became Muslim, I think, or both of them became Muslim. But alhamdulillah.
They are open to our belief and what we think and everything, so it makes sense to them.
So mashallah, so we have a perspective. They're one of the 3 families that I know that are fostering. So he's going to sit here and answer any questions if anybody has any, inshallah.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Are we able to show the slides on the screens? No? Okay, you want to just bring me back the laptop then? It's okay. I can just give the presentation without the slides, but
You can have this and I can zoom into it.
okay. So I'm here to talk to you about the St. Jerome Emiliani Foster Care Program. So we are one of many programs within Catholic Charities, and we are the only international foster care program in Houston. So you cannot see the slide, but it has a picture of one of our current foster parents. We live with the motto, open your home, open your heart, and we have a quote from her about her experience with us. She says, "My experience as a foster parent has been exciting and memorable. The program has been so great in helping me and leading me through this process. I'm motivated in many different ways and have learned so much about being a foster parent. I am so happy for the opportunity that God has given the children to come here and to find a home and a family." So a little bit about our agency as a whole. We're people of faith helping people in need. So we bring help and hope to people in need, especially the poor and vulnerable. We offer a network of life-changing programs that work together to alleviate poverty and meet life's most essential needs. We serve an average of 85,000 people in the greater Galveston-Houston region each year, and we're guided by the Catholic faith to serve people of all beliefs. So our mission is guided by God's love. Catholic Charities helps people in Southeast Texas by providing caring, compassionate services and advocating for social justice in collaboration with parishes and communities. And our vision is people of faith helping people in need live with dignity. So we're a healing ministry within the Archdiocese, but we're separate from the church. So we have some differing views and beliefs, but we do adhere to the traditions, faith, and values of the Catholic Church. So everything we follow is closely related to that. More specifics about our program within Catholic Charities. So the St. Jerome Emiliani program is specifically here to recruit loving foster families for youth who come to the U.S. with no parent or guardian. We work with foster parents to provide them ongoing support for each youth to help them adjust to their life in the U.S. And we prepare them to be self-sufficient when they reach adulthood through language instruction, life skills training, and education. So we are different than domestic foster care since our youth are coming from other countries. That brings with it additional challenges that people may not have with youth that are already born here and going through CPS. Our goal is to provide loving, safe foster homes, and we do always want to prepare the youth to reunify with their family members if it's possible. It just often isn't. In the case of the youth that are with us, they could have circumstances that maybe their parents were abusive, or they are just in their home country, they're not here. So if it's not a path for them, then we're basically just hoping that they would be able to stay in the foster homes until they reach the majority age, which is 18. And when they reach age 18, they can decide whether they want to stay or discharge from our program. But it's our goal that they would stay with us and move into our supervised independent living program. And what that means is that at that point, they can take a test once they graduate high school just to show that they're ready for adulthood. And we try to room them with another youth from the program. And so we'd help them with getting an apartment, getting a job, getting into college. anything that they need to be able to live successfully on their own. And so more about our youth in particular. They come from all over. We have youth from various countries in Africa, such as Nigeria, Egypt, Kenya, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Congo, Rwanda, Guinea, and Somalia. And also from Asia and the Middle East, places such as Burma, Afghanistan, and Iraq. And countries in South America and Central America, like El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Mexico. So since I've been with the program for 2.5 years, our youth have mainly come from Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, Afghanistan, and Eritrea. And I'm being told that next year we're expecting to mainly be getting them from Venezuela, Cuba, Haiti, and to continue to get them from Afghanistan. We keep getting mixed messages about whether we're getting the Ukrainian youth or not. So we may be, we may not, we're just not sure. But as of right now, we're still getting many from Afghanistan. And so, as was previously mentioned, we are really hoping to provide cultural matches as much as we can and religious matches. So we've been doing a push from the Muslim community because we really would like to place these Afghan youth in Muslim homes. And so right now, just based off which families we have available, some of them are not in Muslim homes and some of them are. So it's our goal that they would be able to be placed somewhere where, you know, they have understanding and those similarities. And so the youth that come to us are an average age of 15. They're usually 14, 15, or 16 when they get to us. We don't accept them above 17 because we need to make sure that our immigration lawyers have enough time to work on their legal case and get them citizenship. So we have actual refugees that are identified overseas and then enter the U.S. prior to their 18th birthday without a parent or appropriate caregiver. We also have asylee minors who are granted asylum in the U.S. and have no family to care for them. That's about 14% of our youth. And we have trafficking victims that were identified to have been subjected to commercial sexual exploitation, forced labor, domestic servitude, and other slavery-like conditions. And of those trafficking victims, some of them have what's called a T visa or a U visa, which is just the documents that show that they've been trafficked. And so that provides them with a clear path to citizenship. We also have SIJs, which are special immigrant juvenile status. And those are the youth that have been abused or neglected by their guardians before they arrived here. So we're basically getting referrals each week from the Office of Refugee Resettlement, and the youth are in refugee camps until we have a place to put them. So it's our goal that we would be able to accept them and then be able to put them in a home, but we can't accept them unless we already have a licensed home to put them in. So it's just our goal that we would have families that are ready to take them, that have already been through the process and are just waiting for youth to come to their home. So more about how the program works. It's considered temporary care of the youth, and we call it a long-term placement. So, because people often ask, how long would they be in my home? It really depends on the age when they get here. So, but assume, maybe 2 to 3 years. And during this time, you're just teaching them skills about cooking, cleaning, anything they need to know to be able to live on their own. And then we do follow the same state and county laws and regulations that govern domestic foster care. There's just a few extra steps and additional things that are not required for domestic. And then our foster care program has been developed by agencies that have expertise in working with refugees. And so on our staff, we have about 15 of us, so we each have like a designated area of expertise. So one of our staff members is education coordinator, so he works with helping get the youth into school, helping them develop an education plan, getting them into ESL classes. He also is in charge of our volunteer tutor program, so we have a lot of tutors that help with teaching the youth English or with any subjects that they might be struggling with at school. And that is currently hybrid, so they're kind of doing a little both of going inside the foster homes and then also doing the tutoring over Zoom. And so he also helps the youth sign up for what's called the Education and Training Voucher, ETV. And that is just additional funds that they're able to receive to help them with textbooks and things of that nature whenever they go to college. We also have a clinician who is our counselor, and so she does psychological assessments whenever the youth first arrive. So she'll do a comprehensive assessment of them. She also provides counseling services to them each week, and she can give them additional mental health resources if they need it. All of the youth are assessed when they arrive to be either basic, moderate, or specialized level of care. So that will vary based on what kind of medications they may be taking or what behaviors they're exhibiting. And so she'll assist them and help them with their mental health. And then all of our youth have a case manager designated to them who will advocate for them, who will go to the home monthly. And they also help with teaching the self-sufficiency classes, which is once a month on a Saturday morning, and that's where we're, helping teaching them about adult skills. And they also come up with an individual service plan for them, which is kind of the long-term goal of what they think they want to do. And since they're teenagers, they change their minds, so it's not set in stone, but the idea is that, we want to help them achieve whatever their goals are. So we just want to have some idea in mind of what they think they want to do with their future. And on the foster parent side, they have what's called a foster home developer, but it's the same concept. This person is there to advocate for the foster parents and make sure their voice is being heard. If there's ever an issue, we want to hear both sides. They do quarterly monitoring visits and development visits in the home as needed. And then they help with doing trainings. So we have 40 hours of trainings that are required each year, so they help keep all the foster parents in compliance with those. And then I talked about this a little bit earlier, but our supervised independent living program, which we call SIL, is just where the youth can move into when they're 18 to 21 years old. If they are deemed eligible, where they have to pass a test to show that they are capable to live on their own. And then they'd have a separate case manager, but they would continue to receive medical treatment, medical coverage and support from our program. So it's really in their best interest to move into this program, but since they're teenagers, sometimes they can be a little stubborn and they might decide that they just kind of want to live on their own and they don't want to follow rules. So it's pretty common for them to choose to leave, but then they come back a few weeks later. And so they have 90 days where we're able to accept them back in the program if they've chosen to leave. Just to make sure that, they're in good hands. Like, we always want to support them how we can, so we do let them come back once they kind of realize how hard it is to be on their own. In terms of spiritual services, for more than 75 years, Catholic Charities has brought help and hope to people in need, especially the poor and vulnerable. And so we always ask that the foster families just be open to taking the youth wherever it is that they want to worship. We do try to, give them a good match with religion as we can, but if the youth that comes into your home is practicing a different religion, we just ask that you be willing to take them to, whichever place of worship that they desire to go to, because they want to oftentimes, maintain whatever religion they're following in their home country. But in terms of what we are looking for in foster parents, we are wanting people who are caring, committed, flexible, have free time, can meet the youth's needs, are inclusive, supportive, non-judgmental, open, and understanding of cultural diversity. The basic requirements, just up front, that you would need is to be at least 25 years old, married or single non-cohabitating individuals, be financially stable, have adequate living space, have good physical and emotional health, clear all background checks, have the ability to attend pre-service training, submit to a home study, maintain a minimum of 40 hours of training per year, and all the trainings are offered to you free of charge through us. And our expectations are that you would lead a life with strong values and help the youth do the same, assist the youth in learning to live with others despite the differences, teach them the importance of being in a family, help the youth feel a sense of belonging, teach them how to live with dignity, and teach them independent living skills so that they can achieve self-sufficiency. So with the populations that we are dealing with, many of them are, having fled a country due to violence, which has impacted their lives, and so they could be dealing with some challenges such as trauma, abuse and neglect, anger, substance abuse, attachment issues, grief, human trafficking, language barriers, social skills, and developmental delays. So those are just things to be aware of as you consider bringing the youth to your home. But there are many rewards and blessings as well. You're giving the youth a choice of a better life. You're teaching them. You're affecting positive change. You're giving them a global understanding of the world. You're learning about different cultures, making lifelong connections, and being part of a professional collaborative team. And so the steps to come on to be a foster parent, it is a lengthy process. It does take about 3 to 6 months to become licensed with us. So this is the orientation that you're attending right now. If it's something that you do want to move forward with, the next step would be to fill out the online questionnaire, which is on our website. After that, we do a phone interview, and then we have a final application, which is where you're listing your references and just kind of more in-depth information so that I can run your background check. And then you would send some personal documentation and agency documentation. and I would pass you along to our licensor at that point. So she would help with the online trainings, and then we have a month-long training classes that are called Pride Training, and she would facilitate those. And then she does what's called the home study, and so that is a process where she goes into your home and interviews everyone, asks a lot of questions, reviews to make sure that everything in your home is up to standard with like your fire extinguishers, things of that nature, making sure everything's, you know, safe and ready for the youth. And then we have an approval committee with the staff where we all just get together and review the home study and make sure that everything looks good. We discuss any concerns we might have, so she could come back to you and just give you some feedback. And we basically decide whether we think it's a good fit, and so we either move forward or deny the family. And so if everything checks out, then you would basically be brought on as a foster parent at that point. And then you can't see my PowerPoint, but I have a little QR code here at the end that scans to take you to the questionnaire. But yes, my name is Krista, and so I'm our community outreach specialist, and I'm the one that, you know, is in charge of the beginning stages of this process. And so if anyone is interested, we have a little sign-up sheet where you can, you know, write down your information, and then I can send you an email with a link that will take you to our page, and so you can, you know, read more information there. You can also click the Become a Foster Parent button to go to our questionnaire to fill that out. And I will also, you know, give you a call, follow up with you that way as well. Note that our emails do sometimes go to spam. It flags the at catholiccharities.org. So if you don't see anything from me and you know you should be getting an email, like, feel free to call me or email me too, whatever works. Just know that, yeah, I am always trying to reach people. So if you know I'm trying to reach you and you haven't heard anything, just try to reach out to me so that we can make sure that, you know, you don't fall through the cracks.
Nice. Thanks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Do you have your microphone, Abdullah? Yeah, turn it on. Okay, how many kids are for foster, Christina, we have in
Oh,
Houston?
that's a good question. Oh, I have no idea in Houston as a total, but because we were
How
basically.
long you been doing this?
2.5 years.
In
So-
2.5 years, how many kids you have seen foster?
Sure. So in our program, we have, I believe, 19 right now.
19.
And again, we're just accepting them each week. So the number that we have is always going to be determined by the number of foster parents that we have.
So there is a need and for it.
Very much so.
There's like a waiting list type of-
Yes.
Okay, you don't have an idea how many? They're almost there.
No, because whenever the referrals come through,
Okay.
any agency can respond to it. And so it's
Okay.
our goal that we would be able to, and if we don't, then we just hope that someone else is able to take that youth, because otherwise they would stay in the refugee camp. And so we really don't know what happens to them at that point, because they're not
Abdullah-
with us, you know?
My understanding, Abdullah, you have, Abdullah, that's right?
Adil.
Adil, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Adil. You have foster kids, that's right?
Yes, yes.
How many?
So I had two, now I have one right now.
One. How old is that one?
It's 10 years old.
10 years old. What background?
He came from a Christian family, and they had some issues with...
Like American kid? American
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah.
America?
Yeah,
Okay,
he's from
good.
here. But
So-
actually, like his ancestor, like from Mexico, but
Okay.
he's American, yeah.
Good, because sometimes language can be a challenge.
Right,
if
right.
there's- Okay, what's the biggest challenge you have seen so far?
The biggest challenge with the foster kids is that sometimes it's hard to like adjust them how they used to live with their original like
Lifestyle
family.
or-
Yeah,
Mhm.
so it takes time because they already grow up in a certain way, so they're already shaped up.
How old is that kid that you have now?
10 years old.
10 years old?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have children?
No, not yet.
Are you married?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I would assume that's something like what you said. Both parents have to be committed to that.
Right.
Okay, you and your wife.
Yeah.
Just, I'm curious, what motivated you to do that?
So, is it you that came to that masjid in long time ago? Yeah.
Probably
So-
before I was in this role, but
yeah,
yes.
they came first to East Side Masjid, and my wife was there. So you probably know her. She was here. Like her name is Wafa. Yeah. So she was there, and then they give a presentation like this, and they say we need some Muslim volunteers to talk to Muslim kids. So she feel like kind of a responsibility, how we can also like serve our Muslim kids. So she kind of feels, you know, that she's responsible. And when she told me that, I was like, yeah, it is our responsibility.
I'm proud of you.
So that's why that's what ignite, you know, the idea.
That's a very noble thing. So you can't imagine a kid who doesn't have a safe place to be at. You know, somebody to take good care of that kid. That's a noble thing.
Alhamdulillah.
Proud of you guys. Thank you very much for. I'm sorry, I didn't know there's going to be a presentation and considered like a credit or anything like that. I just under a different impression a little bit. So I apologize for Dr. Ravina and for you for not
That
being
is okay.
well prepared to receive you. But thank you guys for being here and attending. And go USA tomorrow. Wish you guys good. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.